The Chinese and Russian leaders have been hailing the strength of their country's relationship. President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin have been meeting in Beijing after a regional summit. The show of solidarity will continue on Wednesday when leaders from 26 countries will gather to celebrate Japan's surrender at the end of World War II. China is expected to show off its military might with its first major military parade in 6 years.
China and Russia have remained true to their original aspirations and stayed the course, achieving fruitful cooperation. China is willing to work together with Russia to support each other's national development and revitalization and promote the building of a more just and equitable global governance order.
The memory of being brothers in arms, trust, mutual assistance, firmness in defending common interests formed the basis of comprehensive partnership and strategic cooperation between Russia and China in the new era. We were always together then, we remain together now.
Dorsa Jabbari has more of those meetings from Moscow.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has a very packed agenda during his 4-day visit to China. On Tuesday, he met with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, as well as the Prime Minister of Slovakia and the leader of Mongolia. During his meeting with the Prime Minister of Slovakia, President Putin reiterated his stance when it comes to the war in Ukraine. He maintains that Russia is not opposed to Ukraine joining the EU, but when it comes to discussions about NATO membership for Ukraine, that is a different matter. He reiterated that Russia has to look out for its own security, and any kind of security guarantees for Ukraine, that discussion needs to involve Russia. Moving forward, on Wednesday, the military parade that is due to take place, we understand, according to top aides to Vladimir Putin, the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will be seated next to Vladimir Putin, who will be sitting in turn next to the Chinese President Xi Jinping. We understand that following the military parade, the leader of North Korea will be meeting privately with Vladimir Putin to discuss future and possible defensive agreements. We know that North Korea has been a staunch supporter of the Russian president during the war in Ukraine, so far that they actually provided military personnel, soldiers, North Korean soldiers who fought on the Russian territory of Kursk when Ukraine launched a surprise incursion in August of 2024. So the meeting on Wednesday between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin is confirmed to be taking place following the military parade. Once that is over, we understand the Russian president will come back to Russia and wrap up his 4-day historic visit to China. Dorsa Jabbari, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
Well, as Dorsa was just reporting there, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is among the dignitaries invited to China's World War II anniversary event on Wednesday. His private train was spotted arriving in Beijing. He uses it to travel wherever he leaves the country. The state news agency says Kim will be accompanied by a high-ranking delegation, including his foreign minister. It's the North Korean leader's first visit to China in 6 years. OK, well, let's take this on a bit further with Steve Tsang. He's the director of the China Institute at SOAS University in London. He's also the author of The Political Thought of Xi Jinping. He joins us from Nottingham. You sound very well disposed to help us understand all of this. So let me start by asking you this, Steve, because when it comes to President Xi's relationship with President Putin of Russia, there seems to be very little doubt on who the junior partner here is. Russia's under the weight of Western sanctions, with China acting as a lifeline?
Well, yes, I think you're completely right that there is no question that Russia is the junior partner here, given that the Russian economy is roughly the size of the economy of China's Guangdong province alone. But the relationship with Russia, the partnership with Russia, is very important to China as well.
And China and India have faced huge amounts of Western criticism for continuing to trade with Russia during the war in Ukraine. China's denied directly providing weapons, but it has kept Russia's economy afloat. How can China afford to take a position like this in aggravating Europe and the US?
Well, the Chinese government takes the view that China decides what it can or cannot do. And the Chinese position on the Ukraine war has been a consistently inconsistent one, which is a position of declaring neutrality, supporting Putin and not paying any price. They have maintained that position from the start of the invasion to now, and they simply don't really care very much what Europe or America thinks about it. And this parade shows it.
We'll get onto the parade in a second, because I'm curious that while, of course, the US and Europe have been very preoccupied with Ukraine and indeed turbulence in the Middle East now, it appears to have afforded China the ability to rearm at speed, increasing this number of nuclear warheads reportedly by 100 in just a year. What is China planning here?
Well, China has a global strategy under Xi Jinping, and that global strategy is for China to mobilize support from the global south and transform the international order from a US-dominated liberal international order into one which is China preeminent with the support of the global south. And Xi Jinping called this the democratization of international relations.
And Steve, on Wednesday, as you touched upon, we will witness one of the biggest shows of Chinese military might in about 6 years. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, China's shipbuilding capacity is about 200 times that of the United States. For the first time in years, China's naval fleet is bigger than America's, 219 compared to 234. This must be one hell of a wake-up call for Donald Trump and his European allies.
Well, it has been quite a shock to the Americans for a while, but the quality of the US Navy and military as a whole and the training and the combat and command experience are vastly superior to the Chinese. So they are at the moment not yet concerned. But the disparity in industrial capacity is something that Americans will need to be very concerned about moving forward.
All right, Steve Tsang, Director of the China Institute at SOAS University in London. Pleasure to have you on Al Jazeera. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.